Why are you checking a phone that doesn't love you back? 47 unread messages. Your thumb moves before your brain does. That's not connection. That's a leash. You call it staying on top of things. It's not. It's fear wearing a blazer. It clocks in at 9 and never clocks out. Sunday 6 p.m. The dread arrives on schedule. Not because Monday is brutal. Because silence is louder than Monday. And silence always finds you eventually. So you build a fortress out of tasks. Meeting. Email. Slack ping. Repeat. No gaps. No air. No exit. Because a gap is where the questions live. What questions? The ones you've been outrunning for years. Am I wasting this one life I have? Am I becoming a stranger to myself? Is your calendar a plan or a hiding place? Be honest, just for a second. Most people fill their day to avoid one thing. Themselves. 3 hours vanish into TikTok. Again. You don't remember a single video. Just the scroll. Just the blur. Just the numb. That's not rest. That's anesthesia with a screen. Then the third coffee of the day. Your hands shake just slightly. You call it hustle. It's just noise dressed up as ambition. Here's the truth nobody is selling you. Busy is not a badge of honor. Busy is a hiding place with good lighting. And almost everyone is hiding in it. Welcome back to the Mindful Path. I am your guide. In this journey, we don't just talk about productivity, we challenge the very reasons why you feel the need to be productive in the first place. Let us explore the noise and how to finally find the silence beneath it. 350 years ago, a dying man wrote something brutal. Blaise Pascal. He said all of humanity's misery comes from one single humiliating fact. We cannot sit alone in a quiet room. Not for 10 minutes. Not without a screen. Not without noise. Not without something to save us from ourselves. There were no phones in Pascal's century. He wasn't talking about apps. He was talking about something older, something raw. The terror of an empty mind. An empty mind is a mirror. Most of us don't like the reflection. So we run. And we call the running productivity. The Stoics diagnosed this centuries before Pascal. Before Slack. Before the infinite scroll. They had a name for it. Self-avoidance, disguised as ambition. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire on fire. War on every border. Plague inside the walls. And still, every single night he wrote to himself. Not to escape his life. To face it. He didn't numb the noise. He sat inside it. He picked up a pen instead of a distraction. That's the difference between a Stoic and the rest of us. Not less pain. Less running. Here is your first Stoic micro-habit. Tonight, before bed, close every app. Sit for 2 minutes. In silence. No music. Just breathe and notice what rises to the surface. You will feel the itch almost immediately. The pull toward your phone like gravity. Don't move. That itch is the entire point of the exercise. That itch is Pascal's discovery live in your body. Sit inside it. Just 2 minutes. That's not much. But it's a start. And starts are how every escape begins. Because the goal was never do less. The goal is to ask why you needed to do so much. Your busy calendar was never about your career. It was always about your fear. So ask yourself right now without flinching. If your phone died for a week, who would you be? If nobody was watching your output, would you still exist? Sit with that. We're only getting started. Why does silence feel like death? It isn't death. It's just quiet. But your nervous system doesn't know the difference. Evolution built you to survive lions, not stillness. Silence in the wild used to mean danger. Now silence just means you alone with your thoughts. And your thoughts were never trained to sit still. Your thoughts are not always kind to you. So you flee. Not into a forest. Into a feed. The predator changed. The fear didn't. Welcome to the attention economy. $1 trillion machine built on one discovery. Your discomfort is profitable. Your boredom is somebody else's business model. Every app on your phone was engineered for this exact moment. Not to help you. To hook you. To fill the silence before you even notice it arrived. That's not an accident. That's the design. The scroll doesn't stop because you're satisfied. It stops because you're exhausted. Satisfaction was never the goal. Exhaustion keeps you coming back tomorrow. Are you scrolling, or is the scroll operating you? Ask that question honestly. Most people flinch the moment they hear it. That flinch is information. Don't ignore it. Seneca warned about this 2,000 years before Wi-Fi. He called it a sickness of restlessness. People moving from place to place, city to city, hoping new scenery would fix an old mind. It never did. It never does. The mind travels with you no matter the destination. You can change your city, your job, your relationship. The noise inside follows like luggage you can't lose. This is the trap of what we'll call reactive motion. Moving because stillness feels unbearable. Answering a message the second it lands. Filling every gap just to feel some control. Reactive motion feels productive. It isn't. It's a nervous system sprinting away from itself. Fast, constant, exhausting, and going absolutely nowhere. What are you running from when you scroll? Say it out loud if you have to. Loneliness? Boredom? The fear of being ordinary? Name it. Naming it removes half its power. Stoic action looks completely different from reactive motion. It's slow, deliberate, chosen on purpose. Not what can I respond to right now, but what actually deserves my attention right now. Here is your second Stoic micro-habit. Before opening any app tomorrow, pause for 5 seconds. Ask yourself one question every single time. Am I choosing this, or am I fleeing something? If you're fleeing, don't fix it immediately. Don't judge yourself for it either. Just notice it. That's the entire assignment. Awareness alone is already a form of courage. Because boredom is not your enemy. It never was. It's a doorway. And on the other side is the self you keep avoiding. That self is not the monster you imagine. You've built it up in your head for years. But it's just you. Quiet. Waiting. Less terrifying than the fear that guards the door. Are you actually building a career or just building a cage? Every extra hour. Every unpaid ping. Every just one more email at 11 p.m. Is that ambition? Or is that a prison you designed yourself? We treat Stoicism like a marble statue in a museum. Cold, distant, detached from real suffering. That image is a lie. Marcus Aurelius wrote his philosophy in actual trenches. He wasn't meditating on a mountain in peace. He was writing between battle reports and plague counts. His journal, Meditations, was never meant for us. It was a man arguing himself back to sanity. He had one core tool, the Inner Citadel. A fortress no external event could breach. Not war, not betrayal, not the death of his own son. The Citadel wasn't a place. It was a decision. The decision that your mind stays yours. No matter what Slack says. No matter what trends. No matter how loud the outside world screams at you. Your reaction is the last territory you fully own. Modern life has no armies at your gate. It has something sneakier. Notifications. 100 tiny invasions a day, each one demanding entry. Each yes you give is a brick removed from your citadel. Is your phone a tool or is it an occupying army? Count today's notifications if you're brave enough. Each one asked for a piece of your attention. How many did you hand over without a fight? Marcus Aurelius had a boundary line for chaos. He asked himself, is this within my control? If yes, act decisively and without drama. If no, release it immediately, without guilt. Most of your stress lives in the second category. Other people's opinions, the economy, what might happen tomorrow. None of it is yours to carry. Yet you carry it anyway every single day. Here is your third Stoic micro-habit. Write 2 columns on any piece of paper. Within my control and outside my control. Sort today's stress. Watch half the list disappear. The Inner Citadel isn't about feeling nothing. Stoics were never emotionless. That's a myth. It's about choosing your response instead of reacting on autopilot. The gap between event and reaction. That gap is freedom. Right now that gap has been colonized. By notifications. By outrage. By the need to reply instantly. You've handed your freedom over one ping at a time. Did anyone ask you first? No. You just said yes. Rebuilding the citadel doesn't require a retreat to a cabin. It requires small, repeated acts of refusal. Not responding immediately. Not consuming everything you see. Every refusal is a brick laid back in place. Here is your fourth Stoic micro-habit. Delay one response today on purpose for 1 full hour. Not because you're too busy, because you're rebuilding your capacity to choose. A boundary isn't cruelty. A boundary is architecture. Without it, there is no self left to protect. Just an open door and everyone walking through it. Your citadel needs walls. Start building today. What happens when you finally put the phone down? Not for a photo. Not for an aesthetic. For real. For an hour. Then for a day. Most people never find out. You're about to. The first 10 minutes will feel like withdrawal. Because it is withdrawal. Your brain built a dependency and dependencies fight back. This is chemistry, not weakness. Expect it. Your hand will reach for the phone that isn't there. A phantom limb, aching for a life you don't need. The itch will spike, then plateau, then fade. Every craving, given enough time, eventually breaks. This is what nobody prepares you for. The boredom in minute 15 will feel unbearable. Not because your life is empty. Because you've never sat inside your own company this long. Is the discomfort proof that something's wrong with you? No. It's proof the muscle has atrophied. Just like a limb in a cast, weak from disuse. The fix isn't more stimulation. The fix is repetition. Seneca trained himself for hardship on purpose. He'd deliberately eat the cheapest food, wear the roughest clothes, not because he enjoyed suffering, because comfort makes cowards of all of us, eventually. Here is your 5th Stoic micro-habit. Once a week, choose a full hour with zero input. No podcast, no music, no phone, no book. Just you, a chair, and whatever your mind produces. The first few times, this will feel like punishment. Stay anyway. Somewhere around week 3, something shifts quietly. The silence stops attacking you. It starts talking to you. You'll notice thoughts you've been outrunning for months. An old conversation. An unresolved decision. A quiet ambition. They were always there, underneath the noise. You just never gave them room to surface before. This is where real thinking happens. Not in the scroll. Not in the 11th Slack thread. In the void where nothing is competing for your attention. The void isn't empty. It's where you actually live. What would you build if you weren't constantly interrupted? Not hypothetically. Actually, most people can't answer because they've never had the silence to ask. You're building that silence now, 1 hour at a time. Withdrawal doesn't mean you're broken. It means the dependency was real and now it's loosening. Every uncomfortable minute is proof of progress. Discomfort here is not danger. It's evidence of change. You will relapse. Expect that too. You'll grab the phone during minute 7 some days. That's not failure. That's data. Notice it and try again tomorrow. That's the entire practice. Resilience was never about never falling. It's about the speed of the return. Marcus Aurelius fell short of his own standards constantly. He simply returned to the page and started again. What are you running from when you scroll? You've had 4 parts to sit with that question. Maybe you have an answer now. Maybe you don't yet. Either way, the running has to end somewhere. Here is the resolution, stripped of all comfort. You were never actually busy. Busy was a costume and you wore it well. Underneath it, the whole time was fear. Fear of silence. Fear of stillness. Fear of your own reflection. Fear that if you stopped, you'd have to ask, is this the life I actually chose? Or the life I built to avoid choosing? The Stoics didn't promise a life without pain. They promised a life without unnecessary noise. Marcus Aurelius still buried his children. Still fought endless wars. He wasn't spared. He was just unshaken. Unshaken doesn't mean unaffected. It means the citadel held even while the walls took damage. That's not superhuman. That's trained. Every micro-habit in this script was training, not theory. Let's count them one final time. 2 minutes of silence before bed. Pause before opening any app. Choosing or fleeing. The 2 columns, within your control, outside it. Delay one response on purpose for 1 full hour. 1 full hour a week with zero input at all. 5 tools. No apps required. No purchase necessary. Just the willingness to sit in a room alone. Does a life without external noise sound empty to you? It's the opposite. Noise was never filling you up. It was hollowing you out. Silence is where the actual filling happens. Picture a version of you that doesn't need the ping, Doesn't need the algorithm's approval to feel real. Doesn't confuse motion with meaning, ever again. That version isn't fictional. You're building him right now. This doesn't happen in one video, one weekend, one detox. It happens in the 2 minutes tonight. In the delayed reply tomorrow. In the hour of silence next Sunday instead of the scroll. Sunday will still arrive. The dread might still visit. But you'll recognize it now for what it actually is. Not a warning about Monday. An invitation back into the room you've been avoiding. You are not busy. You were never busy. You are afraid of what happens when the noise stops. So stop. Just for 2 minutes. Tonight. That's where it begins. Not with a plan. Not with a system. With one quiet room and the courage to stay in it. The inner citadel was never a place. It was always you.